I just bought this the other day. I don't know what it's about, but or not lost me, but lost my like extreme, my love that I hadn't built yet. Does that make sense? Because I just finished 3 books. That's a lot of books in one day. It's a lot of books. Hey there, this is Rachel over at Moonlight Library. Happy Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I had been wanting to do the 24-hour readathon for quite some time, like years, and I keep missing it. And then this year, and I follow them on Instagram, I'm just like really bad. So this year, I didn't know what was coming up. Last night I happened to be watching Books and Lala, her old Dewey's 24-hour readathon videos. Maybe people were watching them because they knew it was coming and it showed up in my feed, and I'd seen them before, but I was like watching them over. And I was like, wonder when that is. And then I woke up this morning and I look at my Instagram and there it is. It's like on the 29th this morning. And I'm like, you have to be kidding me. I almost missed it again. So I woke up at like 9:30. It's supposed to start at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, that wasn't happening. Also, I already had plans. So I went to yoga and then I went to get dim sum, and then I went to get taro matcha, and then I went to Barnes & Noble because I was like, also, I want some Barnes & Noble, or I want some Barnes & Noble. I want to go to Barnes & Noble to see what they have that are like short books that I feel like I can get through relatively fast, like maybe not short books exactly, but more so what I can get through. I might throw in some like graphic novels or manga, but we'll talk about that later and we'll see where I get to, because maybe I'll get into a slump at a point. So it's right now 3 o'clock, I believe. Yeah, 3:10. So yeah, I went with my friend today to all those places, and getting home, I'm like, it's pretty late. So we're just going to read for the rest of the day and then read in the morning, and maybe in the morning, depending on how much I get done. Because I also have to clean my bathroom today. So a lot of stuff. So I'm going to show you what I've already had and what I bought for the readathon that maybe I'll get to. Probably post a picture of my stack to be like, hopefully I read these books. So here we go. So these 2 books, this book I already have, and I started a couple days ago, and I've only like 3 pages in, so I think it's fine. That is Ring Shout by P. DeJelly Clark. I don't believe I said that last name correctly, but this one is, it's like zombies, but they are Ku Klux Klan members are the zombies. And it's like a zombie apocalypse situation. They're all Ku Klux Klan members. Seems crazy, like really weird. So most of these are going to be horror. There's one that's not horror, but I'm just going to show it to you because I bought it. But I think I'm only going to read like horror sci-fi in this. Yeah, sci-fi and horror. So here's our only sci-fi. I just bought this the other day. I'm very excited about it. That is Martha Wells, All Systems Red. I don't know what it's about, but I keep seeing it everywhere. So I have to make myself do things I don't want to do, like talk to humans. In the corporate-dominated spacefaring future, planetary missions must be approved and supplied by the companies. Exploratory teams are accompanied by company-supplied security robots for their own safety. So this one is following one of the robots, I believe. And I hear it's kind of funny, kind of weird, and it is a whole series of tiny books. Love it. I looked for Benti as well, the second one, Benti Home, I think, at Barnes & Noble today, and they didn't have it. So I was kind of upset because I was like, I would totally read that. We'll save the one that I'm not reading for this challenge for last. So next up is You've Lost a Lot of Blood. I have heard so much about Eric LaRocca, and I've been meaning to read him for quite some time. This cover is so graphic and brutal. So each precious thing I show you in this book is a holy relic from the night we both perished, the night when I combed you from my hair and watered the moon with your blood. Oh my God, you've lost a lot of blood. Okay. And then I have The Ballad of Black Tom, and that is by Victor LaValle. And that is, people move to New York looking for magic, and nothing will convince them it isn't there. So Charles hustles to put food on the table to keep a roof over his father's head, from Harlan to Flushing Meadows to Red Hook. He knows what magic a suit can cast, the invisibility a guitar case can provide, and the curse written on his skin that attracts the eyes of wealthy white folk and their cops. Interesting. I didn't read the whole description, just so we know. Whatever. Silver in the Wood. This one is very short. I think I'm going to probably start with this one. There is a wild man who lives in the deep quiet of Green Hollow, and he listens to the wood. Tobias, tethered to the forest, does not dwell on his past life, but he lives a perfectly unremarkable existence with his cottage, his cat, and his dryads. Oh, and something bad's gonna happen. Yeah, so I'm going to start with that one, just so you know. So after this, I'm going to show you this real quick. I also bought Nick and Charlie. Oh my God, Alice Oseman, so cute. So this does not match any of those other books, so we're not reading this today, even though I'm sure I would get through this so fast. I just read the yearbook one, and I'm up to date on Webtoons as well. I love her so much. Anyways, I just thought I'd show you that. There's like little pictures in it too. Like, it's a regular book, but there's also little pictures. Let's see if we can find one. Look at how cute. I love them so much. Anyways, so I'm gonna roll through some B-roll from earlier today, and then I'm gonna start reading, and I'll get back to you maybe when I finish Silver in the Wood. And then we'll pick out what we're going to read next. Okay, bye. Hey, I'm back. So I just finished Silver in the Wood, and it was good. It was like a folk tale, like a folklore, and it all took place in this one wood called Green Hollow. And you're following this ancient wild man who is like one with the woods sort of situation that has been almost like a Shrek thing. Like, he's just him, like no one else, like he doesn't need anyone around sort of thing. And then obviously he meets someone, and it opens up the world to him. And I wouldn't say I loved it. It was kind of just this peaceful, easy story. Not really peaceful, because like bad things happen, and you know, a lot of like dark things happen. It's definitely not a horror. I found it in the horror section at Barnes & Noble, but I would call this a fantasy, like maybe like a dark fairy tale sort of situation, but not like horrifying. Oh my God, like what's gonna happen? This is so scary. Definitely fantasy. I am interested to read the second one, but in the end, I'd say about 3 stars for it. I enjoyed the characters, but nothing maybe this is like the fault of a short novel sometimes, is that you don't really feel like you're inside of the story as much. It was easy to read. It was lyrical. It was beautiful, talking about the woods and stuff, and like learning about this like kind of fairy tale thing going on, and the lore of these woods and the changing that it does, and his like cute cat is in it and stuff. Like, I love that. But in the end, it's like, I feel like halfway through is where it kind of lost me, or not lost me, but lost my like my love that I hadn't built yet. Does that make sense? Like, I wasn't able to get to the point where I felt like I loved the story. Like, in the beginning, I was like, I could really enjoy this. And then it just kind of petered out for the second half, like the last 50 pages. So in the end, it's about like maybe a 3.5 rounded down to a 3, because I don't think I can give it a 4. But I'd say if you like a slow story that's very like nature oriented, and if you like folklore, if you like dark fairy tales, this might be something for you. So it was good. I liked it. Not my favorite. So it is, what time is it? 5:43. I need to take a shower, but I am going to, my next book is going to be The Ballad of Black Tom. And this should be a pretty fast one too. It's about the same length as the last one. It's like a little longer, like 140 pages. But I'm excited to see this one. It's a complete switch of like, this one takes place in New York, the other one takes place in the forest. You know, we're switching up locations. I don't know how much I'll like this one. I'm not sure. Like, I haven't heard much about it, so I'm excited to see what happens. Here we go. Okay, so I am back. I finished another book. Before I forget, because I forgot, if you're not following me, be sure to subscribe. I would love that. Yes. Anyways, so I finished The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor LaValle, and this was good. This was very good. Black magic, dark arts, arcane knowledge and lore. It's set in the 1940s in New York, and we're following this man, Thomas. I think he goes by Tommy for most of it. Anyways, so he is just like a man trying to make some money, you know, and he ends up like getting some like scary book and giving it to this one woman that kind of starts his path down a bad path. Yes, his path down a bad path. And he's playing the guitar on the streets in like Queens or something, and he shouldn't really be there. So this is 1940s, he's a black man, and he's in a white neighborhood, and everyone's like, what are you doing here? And so we're dealing with a lot of racism, obviously. And this man comes up to him and says like, hey, I'd really like you to play at my party in a couple days. And he's like, okay, because the man's offering him like $500 in the 40s. Like, oh my God. And he's like, I don't, like in his head, he's like, I don't really play the guitar that well. Like, I only know 3 songs, but I'll do it. And it turns out to be not quite normal. Anyways, but right after that, there's like this thing with cops going on, and he is like, gets in trouble for being there, and they take the money that he's been that he has on him at that time. And he's like, well, I guess I'm definitely going to this party. And things really just start going downhill from there. That's just the beginning. And it was a wild ride. I was like, I could not tell you what was going to happen next. And just a big switch up happens that you're like, you're seeing the story in a different perspective, or not a perspective really, but I don't know what's a giveaway and what's not, because we're just like going through this story and all this scary stuff's happening, and just a really good horror book. And I think that people who like Stephen King might enjoy this one. I think it had kind of Stephen King-esque qualities. I don't know how to articulate what a Stephen King quality actually is really, but the storytelling felt Stephen King to me. And I think that's partially why I was like enamored by this book. Overall, really enjoyed it. Gave it 4 stars. It's more like a 4.25 probably. I just started doing this 0.5, 0.25, all of this stuff. And I don't know how I feel about it, but it kind of helps me to score books, because a scale of 1 to 5 is very difficult. It's very difficult. Because this isn't like going to be my favorite book of all time, but I really liked it. And I want to be able to say that, and I need to get better about that. Anyways, that's not what this vlog's about. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Anyways, loved it. I think that other people should read it if you like horror. It is a wild ride. It is a wild ride, especially if you're into kind of the whole like dark arts and like magic and like scary like stuff like that. I felt very Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country. I only saw the show. I have the book. I want to read it, but it felt like that. It kind of reminded me of like kind of Lovecraftian, but a spin on Lovecraftian. So, next up, we're going to be reading All Systems Red, and that's the first book in the Murderbot's Diaries by Martha Wells. I'm very excited for this one. We're following a robot, and I hear it's kind of funny, kind of weird, sci-fi, maybe quirky, maybe not funny. I don't know. I don't know. I just heard that the other day and I was like, that's surprising, you know? Someone compared this to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Books and Lala did. And I was like, interesting. I remember liking that book, but it's been so long since I've read it. Yes. So let's start this. Also, I'm going to make myself some pizza. So maybe you'll see some footage of that. And by maybe, I mean you will, unless I forget in the next 5 minutes to do that. Did I tell you it is right now 7:49? So I have a lot of time. I'm flying through books. We already have 2 books done. That's crazy. So let's get to this one. We're back. Okay, I just put my pizza in the oven and I also finished All Systems Red. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. So we have our main character who is a robot, and these robots are contracted by this company to like go with different organizations that hire this company to give them everything they need to go on these planetary missions and stuff like that or something. And so our main robot, though, who has titled himself Murderbot, has deconstructed their link to like their government, whatever governs them and however the company controls them, right? The corporation, the main corporation. So they're a free bot, but it is unknown to the company that they've done this. And they're just like super apathetic. Just like, I don't really fucking care about this job. I just want to watch my drama TV. But a lot of stuff is going down. They're with this crew of people that have hired the company and so they have a murder bot with them. They're with them, with these people, and they are like the group of people are more sympathetic towards the it's called like a sec bot, like a security bot, than anyone else has ever been, because they don't usually work with them, and so they don't really understand. They don't see them as just like an appliance, basically. And so they're on this planetary mission. Things are going wrong, and something is happening that no one can really explain. And it's funny. It's funny. Like it's all in the first person, told by Murderbot, and Murderbot is just kind of like, navigating having feelings, not having feelings for someone, but having feelings in general, like, oh, like they're really nervous and like, and I guess they also have like human parts. So usually they have an opaque helmet on, but they can open it or make it so it's not opaque, and they have like real organic features because they're made from like clones or something. And it is just the strangest little book, and it's a series, and I cannot wait to read the rest. I ended up giving it 4 stars because the ending, there was something that moved so fast in the end that it felt like it was just rushed out, and I'm excited to see where it goes, though. I mean, definitely gave it 4 because I loved it, and I do want to read more. It just wasn't like, there was something that was not exactly a 5, you know what I mean? It wasn't exactly a 5. It was like 4.5 rounded down. I'm going to stop doing this rounding thing because every single one I'm like, here's what the rounding is, you know? So, I'm excited about moving on in this. Anyways, so the next book that I'm going to be reading, You've Lost a Lot of Blood, and that's by LaRocca. I read you the very short synopsis earlier. This is a very shiny book, so just ignore my ring light. Hello. And a creepy cover. I feel like this is going to be gory and creepy, and I will get back to you soon about my feelings on it after I eat my pizza, but I also have to do my chores, which is cleaning the bathroom tonight. It's right now 10:30, and I'm usually a night owl, so I bet I'll finish it. I don't know if we're going to get to ring shout. We're going to see. We will see. That would make it so I'd be up until like 2 or 3 a.m., like 4 a.m. or something. Like, most likely not. Maybe I'll read in the morning, maybe I won't. I might just wrap this up and like, I'll come back and talk about this and then let you know where I'm feeling, like how I'm feeling, because I just finished 3 books. That's a lot of books in one day. It's a lot of books. Okay. Okay, so it is the morning time. I did say to y'all that I would update you last night, but I didn't start reading until midnight. So I ended up having to I ended up having to finish where did I put the book? Gosh darn. I finished You've Lost a Lot of Blood. I finished it in the morning. I got almost, I was like maybe 75% through this book last night. And then my eyes were dropping. And last night I had to clean the bathroom. And I somehow got bleach in my eye. As you do. Just a little bit. But I had to like wash it out. And so, yeah. I feel fine now. Yeah. I'm not going blind. I was like, am I going to be, it was this high. I was like, am I going to be blind? Is it going to kill my eyeball? It didn't. I'm very thankful to me for washing out the bleach. Yes. Okay, so anyways, You've Lost a Lot of Blood. Okay, this, I didn't know, I hadn't read any Eric LaRocca. I actually think this entire vlog has been new to me authors. That's fun. So, a lot of new people to check out more stuff from. But Eric LaRocca, I was like, it's going to be like extreme horror and like, I don't want to like... I always say, like, I love, like, gross horror, but I think it needs to be balanced. It can't just feel like, I can't just feel like the worst people in the universe doing the worst things in the universe just for fun, Like, American Psycho has horrifying things, but it's a commentary on society and materialism and consumerism and capitalism, blah, blah, blah. The idea of the self and stuff. So, and like the masks that we wear. So anyways, something like that, it makes sense, the extreme horror within it. So but I was afraid this would be like meaningless self-horror, like extreme horror. It was so good. It's there is a book within the book, but the book within the book is the main book. So the premise is there is this guy who, with his like boyfriend that he ends up killing, this from the beginning. There's like an editor's note. This editor has compiled all the works from this guy, Murderbot. And he has compiled, it's like some of his just like journal entries, some like phone calls that have been recorded, or like recordings off a cell phone of conversations, and some poems, and then a book. And the book is You've Lost a Lot of Blood. And it is primarily what this book is that book. So it's like, this is probably almost 200 pages. This is probably about 200 pages. And I want to say 160 pages are the book in the book. So yes, that book could stand alone and could just be a book. It was it was amazing. Like, I really enjoyed the story. I'll tell you the premise of that. It's this girl that is traveling with her brother to this house where this very well-known video game designer lives and works, and he's trying to finish this one video game that's been taking him years to complete. And she ends up getting hired to come in and help with some aspect of it to finish it so it can be released. And she has her little brother with her because their parents had passed away. So things are just really weird, and it's just I don't know. It's so good. And, you know, I'm a contrarian. I like everything that story is wrapped in. Like, I like the Murderbot Black stuff. I really enjoy there are these cell phone recorded conversations that happen that almost feel like I'm thinking of ending things. Like, it feels like conversations from I'm thinking of ending things, but if they're like serial killers, you know? Anyways, 5 stars. This was amazing. I freaking loved it. And I just like, I'll think about this one. I could actually see myself rereading this. And that does not happen often, that I'm like, I could reread a book. I might reread this book. Like, I actually really like this. Anyways, I am not going to be reading Ring Shout. I'm sorry. I'll probably read it soon because I was reading it anyways. I think that's partially why I left it for last. Also, it's the longest. Was because I was like, I started it anyways earlier, so whatever. So we have to do the regular, here's what I read. So I had a 3-star to 4 stars and a 5-star. That is like pretty good for me. I think it's good that, like, I feel like there's a good variation in everything I'm reading here. Silver in the Woods is kind of a fantasy. So it's kind of fantasy. It's kind of folklore fairy tale-esque. Enjoyable, but maybe I have to read the second one to feel complete with it, because it's a duology. Ballad of Black Tom, that's the second one I read. It's cosmic horror because it's like H.P. Lovecraft. You know, I just heard of the term cosmic horror recently, and I was like, oh. And I was like, I don't think I've ever read a cosmic horror, but maybe I have. But reading this, now I can definitely say I have. And that's pretty exciting. So cosmic horror kind of feels a little bit like, yes. What was I saying? Anyways, if you like dark arts and black magic and stuff, you'll probably enjoy this one, you know, bringing about the end of times. Martha Wells, All Systems Red. This is sci-fi, and it's kind of a quirky sci-fi, so it's a little funny and a little strange, but very like hard sci-fi at the same time. And you're following a robot. How much fun. And then finally, Eric LaRocca's You've Lost a Lot of Blood. It's like a mixed media. And like I just said to you before what it is. I guess it's kind of extreme horror. You know, I don't know. Because like parts of it are kind of like, ugh, you know. But at the same time, I've been contemplating what are horror subgenres. Where does this fit in? I'll think about this later. Anyways, thank you for joining me. Thanks for being here on my little journey of Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I haven't said that in a second. I was like, what are we here for? Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I did a great job. Please congratulate me in the comments. Give me one of those like party thing that like is shooting this stuff. Do the champagne glass toast. Do one of the celebratory ones. Give me a celebratory emoji, whichever one you usually choose, because I believe that I did a great job, and so do you. Okay. Thanks for joining me. I will talk to you later. I'll probably be coming up with my April wrap up in a couple days, because I'm going to post this and post that. Okay, bye. Be sure to like it and subscribe. Bye.